Yo, 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 what up? It's RJ Fantasy Football. Sorry we wanted late. Blame it on me. Had a work function. But hey, better late than never. We here. You know what it is. Rodney. That's Jay. What's going on, bro?
Hey, nothing too bad. Sitting here waiting for you, but nah, it's all good. Week 14, baby.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
time. It's time to do what we came to do. This
exactly.
is it. This is the end, right? So
This is the end,
everybody's
man.
either trying to make that playoff push, or you're firmly squared away in the playoffs. Either way, Week 14's big. So how'd you do this week, and what are your playoff
Oh,
prospects looking like?
gosh, it was terrible this week again, man. These last 2 weeks been horrible, man. So I'm in three. Let me think. One, two, three. I'm in three automatically right now. I'm fighting. I'm in like seventh place in one of them, and I'm out for the last two. So right now I'm looking at three. I'm looking at four, possibly being in the playoffs. So which is good. I wanted none last year, obviously because I had a child, and that's like a bad curse from fantasy football for me. So I'm good. I'll take 4 out of 6 this year.
4 out of 6. Your percentage is higher than mine. I'd say that much. Um,
Yeah.
I'm in the playoffs for uh, right. Let's see, the gridiron and the barbershop. I'm in first place. For
Okay.
both of those, I'm in last place in the two other leagues. I'm fighting to make the playoffs in the comedy club league. So that one is gonna come all the way down to this week. In the defensive league, I'm definitely in the playoffs, and then SMFL is bad. It's been bad all year, and I don't think I'm gonna make the playoffs, but I'm gonna keep my head above water in the EPI league. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be in the playoffs and probably like four. There's an outside shot at five, but I think it's just gonna be four. This was a good week though. I was 6-3 across all
Oh,
my
that ain't
leagues
bad.
this league.
That
So
ain't bad at
I
all.
mean,
That's
it would
good
have been
actually.
better a couple of weeks ago, but you know,
Oh yeah.
it's all
Hey man.
good. No,
It's just injuries alone is hard. It's been hard, man. Just injuries the last 2 weeks are killing me, man. It's like I can't get past the injury bug to save my life. And then I had a bunch of people on bat in one league, on top of the injuries, on top of that, and I was like, man, it is what it is, man. I'm, you know, I'm gonna have to deal with it and let it go. But this week I gotta win games, and I know who Jamal is, and yeah,
yeah, no.
he's coming.
Jamal been talking smack for like over a week right now, so it's all good. But hey, I got that first place locked up, so say what you
He
want
better
to.
he better try to hold on to that second spot. Don't lose this week because I'm coming for that second spot. So
Yeah. That's our gridiron people, so it's all good. But still, though he talks much, welcome Jamal to the show. Good to have you here.
yeah,
Waited almost an hour just to say his piece on this one. So I appreciate you waiting around just to talk more smack.
I
Uh,
appreciate y'all waiting for me. I do.
also got Lewis Tracy and Olina Lewis joining us tonight. So good to have everybody here. Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Just hanging in there. You know how it is, man. It's kind of hard sometimes, brother. So, whew, I appreciate it for real.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? And until RJ pays the bills, we gotta do the day to day hustle. So
oh, definitely.
it's all.
You know what time it is. So,
Well, hey,
hey, man,
since it's late, let's jump straight into some news.
let's go, man.
And
Yeah,
yeah, tell me what you got. There was some exciting stuff happening this week.
it was some. I can dig some of the news.
Not injuries though. That's
Oh
just
God,
bad news.
injuries, man.
So
I tell
many
you.
injuries. But other than that, what you got?
Zach Wilson is back as the starting quarterback this week. I don't know how long he can keep the job, but there was a report saying that he didn't want to come
Yeah,
back as starting quarterback. I don't know how true that was.
yeah. I'm
Any chance you get of starting in the NFL, you take that chance, regardless of how you feel about the situation.
yeah.
Um, I
I,
don't know.
I read that stuff and talk about being hesitant, and my guess is it's probably something. he said, but got blown up a little bit. Because hey, you bench me and you put me back. I can feel it, but at the same time, I don't. I'm not too worried. No, the bigger concern is he's just not good, and
Yeah.
but as bad as he is, he's much better than what they've gotten out of Ball the last few weeks. Here's how bad he is, and you guys and the audience, welcome Will Hayes to the show. By the way, good to have you here.
Going on with
Here's how I knew he was really bad. I have been struggling with the quarterback position in our 2 QB league, right? And
yeah.
so when Kenny Pickett went down, I was like, oh no, who can I go with? Uh, Trubisky, nobody had touched. Somebody picked him up and dropped him like almost immediately. Trubisky was still out there. Mac Jones, no, not Mac Jones, because I still had him on my roster from before. Bailey Zappi was out there. Nobody wanted to mess with him. And Broy was out there for the now backup for the Jets. And I was like, in that league, if no one's touching you in that 2 quarterback league, you must be pretty bad because
Yeah.
backup quarterbacks get picked up in that league like it ain't nothing. So it's like, yeah, everybody knew it was just bad stuff. So that's my situation right now, where if I have just one more injury or just some bad performances, I'm out. So that's why Jamal, I think, feels so confident in talking to Matt, because he knows I'm struggling. No, CJ Stroud is carrying my team across the finish line, and without him, I don't have a whole lot. But I'm in first place, so I'm gonna just take my first place regular season win and just hope I can make it through the playoffs. Hey, if CJ Stroud can throw me like 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, I might have a shot at winning the championship. But I'm gonna do my best.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that because, bro, it is hard
it's
letting these
it's
days with
tough,
these quarterbacks, man.
especially at quarterback. It's tough
Oh
this
my
year.
God, these guys are going down like it ain't nobody's
Yeah,
business, man.
yeah,
I don't understand it, man. I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what they're drinking. I don't know what they eating, man. I mean, this is crazy. So it's like you gotta be
they they
prepared to get these quarterbacks, man. And it's any league, but
yeah
guys are getting hurt at a really high rate,
yeah
which
yeah.
is crazy nowadays.
But never the person I'm playing. It's always me. So
Exactly. Come on.
it's all
Exactly.
good. But hey, welcome Justin is with us, the third man Shaq. Yeah, we're gonna talk Hall of Fame Mike Evans
Uh,
a little bit. He blew it up. My man
yeah.
is I think it was JJ Watt, if I'm not mistaken, on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, talking
Mhm.
about Hall of Fame Mike Evans. I was like, JJ Watt must watch RJ Fantasy Football Talk in the third man because Shaq been saying that for years since he's been the third man. So
Yeah.
it's catching on. We also got did I say everybody what's up everybody? I think I said what's up to Justin and Anita as well. If I didn't, it's good to see everybody here. Thanks again for joining us so late. Um, Hey, Justin says if he wins, he's first seed. I feel you.
Yeah.
I'm in that same situation. I was saying earlier. I'm definitely in first place in one of the leagues. The other one, I'm in first, but I need to win to stay in first because there's 3 of us with the same record. But I got the points lead by a ton. And Nita, yes, she is in first place in our division. But I'm taking that back this week. So be ready, Nita.
Yeah.
Hey, I got it. I've been. It's been me and her back and forth. So I need to start giving her bad fantasy football advice.
Hold on.
And
Can't do
maybe
that.
I can.
But
Hey,
you
I'm trying
you
to.
don't have to do that. So you can't
Nope,
do that.
I
Hold on.
can't do
Okay.
that.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
All right. We'll
No.
we'll give good advice. But Nita, I just want to remind you of the beginning of the season. You were complaining because you were drafting in last place. So now you see, with good management and good drafting, it doesn't matter where you draft. So that
No.
much congratulations, but I'm still trying to take that first place spot from you this week. So we'll see how that goes. I know she said I won't. I will. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. All
Yeah.
right, so Zach Wilson, he's starting again. Here's the question: Are you putting him in your starting lineup if you were desperate like me and need
No.
a? Hmm?
No.
Not,
I picked him up
not
in
even
one
a two
league.
quarterback league. Just
No, so
announced.
I'm in a two quarterback league. I'm in third at the moment. I didn't have a
Yeah.
third quarterback,
Okay.
so I picked him up as my third quarterback. Obviously, I got C.J. Stroud and Justin Herbert, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
good over there, obviously. So I needed a third quarterback just in case something happened. Like I said, I don't know how long he can keep the job, but I feel like they don't have nothing else to go to, so they
I
have
mean,
no choice but to
what
get
else is left for them to try? So you know.
yeah. So I think he's gonna keep the job, I guess, for the remainder of the
Yeah.
season. And then I think he's going after that anyway. But for right now, yeah, I got him as my third quarterback. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Desperate times, the desperate measures. I don't recommend it strongly, but if you got to, you got to. Nita says that was the WFF, the women's league that she was. I thought you were. I thought she was in last place in both of her drafts, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought she was claiming that she was last place in both drafts and yada 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 yada. Point is, you're doing well this year, and it's an
yeah,
improvement over last year. So congratulations to you.
definitely congratulations.
Here's a news story. I don't know whether this is a cause for CTE alarm bells because there's a quarterback who
Okay.
has the record for being sacked the most in NFL history, David Carr, and he's saying that the Eagles might want to bench Jalen Hurts
For
and
what?
start Marcus Mariota because his logic was that Jalen Hurts isn't completely healthy, so he's not able to run the ball, and so they would be better suited letting him sit, play Marcus Mariota because Jalen Hurts is also having trouble reading defenses, and so Marcus Mariota is the answer.
So I
That's
have a
the news.
problem. I have a problem with
There's
this
so
this
many problems with that.
comment that he made because
Yeah,
the stereotype is I hate to say this, but we can't read defenses, right? Because they said the same thing about C.J. Stroud. He can't read defenses. He can't comprehend a
yeah.
playbook. Now my thing is this: David Carr, you were in the league what 3 years, 4 years, maybe,
Oh, no, he
and you
actually
have,
played several years, mostly on the bench.
but
But
again,
yeah,
I find it funny that these backup quarterbacks get these
talk the
jobs,
most stuff.
shows,
Yeah.
and all of them have sucked or they played for 9 or 10 teams. So I
Mm-hmm.
find it funny that he go up there and say this, but he don't say this about Mac Jones, can't read defense, and he don't say it about Zach Wilson, can't read a defense. You don't say it about all these
Yeah.
other guys that can't read a defense, but you want to pick out the one guy, Jalen Hurts, that can't read a defense. Really? I find that comical at this point. And you trying to sit here and tell me, oh, wow, is that the case?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, let's be real now. Seriously.
Well, in defense of football fans, he is being roundly blasted on social media and from former players. I was like, how in the world do you make that bad of a take? Even if Jalen Hurts is struggling, your answer is Marcus Mariota. Like, have you seen the film on Marcus Mariota? It ain't pretty. It sure enough ain't pretty.
I mean, like, are you serious? You can't even sit here and tell me that that's a statement that you would come out and truly make right
Yeah,
now. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you feel about the Eagles, no matter how you feel about Jalen Hurts, he's the best option for that team, regardless
yeah.
whether he's 100% healthy or 85% healthy. He's the best option for that team right now, and that's the only way they're gonna win. Do
I
people?
would take 50% Jalen Hurts over 100% Marcus Mariota, and it's not even close.
First of all, do you understand that Marcus Mariota quit on the Atlanta Falcons last year? I mean, blatantly quit, left the team, didn't tell nobody, and he
Yeah,
ended up with a backup job. Most guys would have been out of the league for doing something like that. So let's like kind of slow this horse down a little bit. Talking about Marcus Mariota, he literally got benched and
yeah.
quit on the team last year. Took his stuff and ran. That is not who you want to start. Stop
Right.
it.
Yeah, it's dumb, but I just wanted to see if you heard it to get your opinion on it. Yo, we got some comments, questions I want to make sure I don't skip out on. For one, your boy Debo Samuel doing some work for people last week, except for a certain someone who had Debo Samuel on their bench. So Bad. That's a bad move. You should have asked RJ about that. We would have said never bench Debo, ever, ever, never, ever. But Jesse has a question. You need to start 3 flexes. Your options are Adam Thielen, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Drake London. I think that's George Pickens and Dr. Kincaid, from the Buffalo Bills.
This is easy.
You get to pick 3. You said Thielen?
I'm going Rice, London, and Kincaid. I think Thielen's he started hot. He started well, but he's been on the downside lately. And we just don't understand what Pickens. Pickens
is too hit and miss.
Too hit and miss for me. So for me, I'm going Rice, Flowers, and Kincaid. London had 0 points last week. I'm saying, so those 3 are playing. I think Rashee Rice is gonna have. They play Buffalo this week, and I think he's gonna have a game because there's gonna be a lot of scoring in there. And
he's the only wide receiver who can catch even a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So I'm with you. I like Rice. I definitely like Kincaid because I like that matchup. That should be a good game. The point setters have it at like 48.5 points. That's a lot of points, and I think those 2 guys are very likely to get some of those touchdowns. And Zay Flowers is Zay Flowers. He's him. So I'm with you on that. So I agree totally with those selections. I see something about waiting for Aaron Rodgers. Good luck with that, Justin. Yo, I'm still standing by the belief that the Jets are the worst team in the league if they put Aaron Rodgers in. I don't care how ready he thinks. Look, Aaron Rodgers is high, all right? He's been high the whole season, not having to play a game. He doesn't even know how hurt he actually is. Sit that old man down and hope that next year, you can get something. But Justin also says that the Eagles are overrated. I think that is an overreaction kind of statement. Look, we, and by we I'm pointing at myself, said the Eagles were due for a letdown, that they're on a really tough stretch in their schedule, and they had to have a loss coming. I don't think the 49ers are as good as they looked in that game, and I don't think the Eagles are as bad as they looked in that game. That game is not really indicative of either team. But I will say this. The 49ers are putting folks on notice. They are looking really good at the right time. They're going to be a hard team to beat in the playoffs.
Well, they said the Eagles was coming off three games in the last, probably, I think, 15 days or something like that. It was a short span of days of where they played a bunch of games. And we came off of obviously a restful week or whatever, so we was good. So they just have been playing a lot of close games, and a lot of those games have been like tight, especially that Buffalo game. So they had a lot of games. I don't think the Eagles are overrated. I think they just came out. They had a bad game.
It was a bad game. Teams have bad games.
I think if the scenario was different where both of them had rest, I think we'd be looking at a different game.
Yeah.
So. And I called it being close, but I was wrong on that one.
Yeah.
But I didn't. They was in that span of playing so many games.
Yeah. Need also saying that there's been so many injuries. Owners are gonna have a talk. I don't know what they can fix about some of this. They already kind of softened the rules so quarterbacks don't get hurt as much. But we'll see. I know one thing they are discussing, and here's going back to some more news. The story is that Roger Goodell is definitely set on having the tush push banned.
Why?
How do you? Hey, cause
I mean, it's a play that can't be stopped, and I think a lot of teams are complaining about it. But also, if you realize, a lot of teams are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get their own version of the push tush, and it doesn't work for them because they don't. First of all, they don't have the line that Philly has, and Philly has a better line than most teams.
Yeah.
So that's why their push is not working. So they're complaining to the league that, we need to get rid of this. And the thing is, Philly does it blatantly, and they don't care. They know it's coming, and they still do it. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think they're complaining about something that shouldn't be complaining about. It's like they taking the fun out of football.
Yeah.
So I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, Goodell is the supreme ruler, so if he doesn't like it, it's gonna be gone. You can count on that. But it is what it is. Jason Kelsey on their podcast, he and his brother Travis basically said, "Yo, if y'all want to ban it, ban it. We'll come up with something else."
Yeah.
So, but I wonder, does that mean he's thinking about playing? Because he was talking about retiring a lot last season, and he came back. So maybe Jason Kelsey's expected to come back again since he said we. I don't know. We'll
I
see.
mean, he still. I think he still got something
He's
left.
still, hey,
I think
he's
he can do it. I
the
don't see
best
why not.
center in the league, so why not?
Yeah.
Apparently, Derek Carr is taking strays. I mentioned David Carr has lost his ever loving mind, and Nita's over here saying, talk about him and his brother. Hey, leave Derek Carr out of it. My man didn't have nothing to do with that comment. Hey, he ain't a Raider anymore, but I love Derek Carr. But he has been terrible in New Orleans, and he messed up one of my bold predictions. So I ain't
Well,
gonna defend him too much.
I don't think he's been terrible. I think the
No, he's
situation.
been terrible.
I think any quarterback that goes to New Orleans,
Yeah,
as long as
Dennis Allen is there.
Dennis Allen and
Yeah.
Taysom Hill is there, they're gonna. It's like you interrupt their flow of the game when you pull them out
Well,
to
they,
run a play that you know Taysom Hill is running the football.
but they gave
It's
him a lot of money, and so I don't know why they gave him that much money to not be the quarterback. But so I think they just have to find ways to use him. But
I mean,
I don't think it. I don't think it's conducive to good
no,
offense.
I mean honestly, Dennis Allen should be out this year. Um, I think because they're saying there's about 10
Yeah,
teams going to be coachless this year, so I
yeah,
think
there should be a lot of openings,
that should be one of them.
but
If,
not with Las Vegas. I hope there's not an opening there.
no, he doesn't need to be a head coach nowhere because obviously he hasn't been successful over the last 2 years. So obviously he's not a good coach.
Yeah,
And the way you do that, you don't do that by taking him out of the game. You taking him out of the game out of a floor where he's getting into a rhythm, and it can't do that. No.
now, with Derek Carr getting super injured this week, are you
Mhm.
starting Jameis Winston? Since we're
I don't
on
have James. Well, if I had him, I would.
yeah,
Obviously, James is going to throw interceptions, but James is going to throw touchdowns too. So,
right.
but again, it don't matter if you
He's
start James.
gotten better with his interceptions. He's not as bad.
I mean, I guess if he got
But
his ass
I
protected,
think
I
he's
guess.
trying not to throw interceptions so much that it kind of takes away from the touchdowns. He doesn't take. Hey, sometimes you got to be the gambler, like Brett Favre. You lead the
Well,
league in touchdowns and lead the league in interceptions. It's all
I
right.
don't
It
think
ain't
it's
nothing
a good
wrong with it.
play. I don't think it's a good play because Taysom Hill he gets involved in that situation,
Yeah,
and that takes a lot from the quarterback position in New Orleans.
yeah,
So, me personally, I'm staying away from it. Honestly, I mean, I don't know how much of a choice you got sometimes, especially this late with
hmm
quarterbacks and all the injuries, so you might have to play them.
yeah,
But if you can avoid playing them, I would.
yeah. He wouldn't be my first choice.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Justin. Who would you start, Chuba or Cortland Sutton over? Oh, or question: would you start Chuba or Sutton over Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley?
No.
I don't Sutton. I think about, but I'm trying to think who would I
Cuba.
start him over Josh Jacobs. Chuba's a definite no.
Yeah.
That's a
Cuba.
hard no. Sutton's been doing his thing. Um, Sutton's
Barkley's
been
been
doing his
playing
thing.
well. Barkley
Yeah,
is playing well.
yeah.
And you don't take Barkley out of the game,
I
especially
don't,
not this late in the year. Last game of the year, playoff push. Nah.
yeah.
You
I'm trying to think because Barkley's definitely a no. I'm trying to think what I think about starting Sutton over Josh Jacobs, and it could just be the Raider in me that won't let me. But I don't think I do it. I don't think I do either one of those. But but I would say I would probably if there's a flex spot that's available, I would try to get Sutton in a game, but not over Jacobs or Barkley.
no.
Nah.
Especially in a league like his, it's probably a running league, and they probably get more points from running than passing. So I would definitely go running back over that. So,
So I got another comment. 49ers and the Cowboys and the Packers are better. If he's saying better than the Eagles, stop smoking that stuff. We're going to find out about the 49ers. I might give you. The 49ers, at least from
yeah.
what we saw, I'd say better than the Eagles right now. Yeah. The Cowboys. Let's see what happens this weekend because the
Oh,
Cowboys have yet to beat a good team, but the Packers have been looking really impressive.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, baby.
Jordan Love.
Hey, I got him as the quarterback for one of my teams, and it's been all good since he's been there. So
Jordan Love.
I need him to pull out the magic at least one more week. I'm not gonna make the playoffs in that league, but that's the eliminator league where you
Mm.
can get pushed out the league. I'm not gonna be sad if I get pushed out, but I'm trying to stay in if I can. So we'll see. And then Justice said some bad stuff about the Yankees and the
Yeah.
Red Sox. There's that trade today, so we're gonna get past that trade and just keep on moving. Um, Philly, whiners and arrogant, according to Nita, and they did get embarrassed in their own house. I agree with that part of the
They
statement.
did. We embarrassed them. We came in.
Yeah.
We took it from them. So it's cool.
Hey, Debo said their secondary was trash, and they look trash
They did.
this week. But I say one thing: those two teams are destined because in the NFC, I don't think any team is better than the Eagles and the 49ers. I don't think. I don't know. What do you think? Is
I don't.
there anybody else that can challenge those guys?
So I think if we get the number one seed and we have to go to San Francisco, I think it's gonna be tough to beat us.
Yeah.
But I
If,
think
if y'all have the number one seed, I think 49ers to the Super Bowl. I'm with you there.
yeah, but I think if we got to go on the road, even though we beat Philly in Philly,
Mm-hmm.
I still think different circumstances when you get in the playoffs, the intensity is a little bit higher, the pressure is a little bit higher. Can you do it again? Obviously, and I think you'll be well rested. Obviously, going into that game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough, but I think when we get the first seed, I think we all the way to the Super Bowl. Now, winning it is a different story, but getting there is definitely will be easy. Going through that.
Yeah. Do you see any other NFC teams other than you guys in Philly competing for the NFC Championship?
I think Dallas is clicking on all cylinders right now, and I know they ain't play nobody,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to play what's in front of you. So at the end of the day, you know they played the schedule that was printed out on paper, and I think they've been playing well. CeeDee Lamb has been playing excellent. Dak has playing that excellent. Cook has been playing excellent. Brandon Cook's been playing really well. So I mean, you got to see. I mean, it's any given Sunday. To be honest with you, you can lose, you can win. I don't want to discount Detroit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Detroit can go on the road and win a game.
Yeah. That's one of my issues with that team. I think they're good, and I don't think they're better than those other two. But I guess they're one of the things you think about. So.
Yeah.
Here's the news source that you said playing the schedule in front of you. What's your thoughts on the Florida State situation getting left out of the playoffs?
I'm a Florida State fan, and I called this the other day because of Travis being hurt.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, what people don't realize is that college football is all about money. So if you think about the 4 teams they put in there, and I was telling somebody the only ACC team that they were allowed to be in there is Clemson. If Clemson had a better record, and Clemson was in that same situation, Florida State, they would put them in there over Texas. So my thing is, when I told somebody if Alabama beats Georgia, they're gonna find a way to put Alabama in there just because Alabama is Alabama. Now, I thought they was gonna do Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and Georgia. That's who I thought the 4 would be because I
said it last week. By the way, you jinxed Georgia by saying Alabama because you did call Alabama winning that one.
I called Alabama
the whole bracket.
Yeah, I called it for a week, and the thing is, I knew they weren't gonna put us in there because we didn't have the quarterback, or we didn't have the big name quarterback that's gonna draw attention for people. That's why they're looking at it. But I'm gonna tell you this though, it's gonna be another TCU situation because Washington, in my opinion, does not belong in that 4.
I think they belong in the 4.
I don't
because same thing I said about Florida State. I think they just to me the job of the committee is to make the tough decisions. When you have an undefeated team in a power conference. It's not a tough decision. Whether you think they're the best or not, they proved it on the field. So I think the undefeated teams should have just been in. And then you had to just decide between Alabama or Georgia which one of those SC teams you wanted to get in there. Yeah. And I would have replaced Texas with one of those two.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I also would have been like, okay, definitely Michigan.
Yeah.
I would have took Washington out. For me, it would have been Michigan, Georgia, Florida State, and Alabama. It would have been those four for me because you're gonna run into a situation to where, okay, like TCU finished undefeated last year, but TCU amazingly beat Michigan that year too to get to the championship game, and they got destroyed. I understand why they don't understand. It's definitely about money, and it's definitely about race. So the money for me would have been Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Florida State. Those four teams are going to draw more ratings and more money than a Washington team would any day of the week. So for me, it's fine. I get what Washington did, and I get it. But Washington has no shot of beating any of those teams. Not one.
Here's where I'm going to disagree with you, and this is where I disagree with the committee. Most people are going to say, yeah, Alabama, Georgia, they're the better ones, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. You mentioned just a second ago that Michigan lost to TCU last year. Nobody had TCU winning that game because of the same arguments you're making right now. Oh, Michigan's a better team than TCU is. TCU hasn't played anybody. TCU isn't on the level. You don't have a doggone clue until you see this thing happen on the field. That's why we play the games. That's true. So the fact is, until this time that just happened this past week, no Power 5 team that's undefeated has ever been left out of the playoffs, and I don't think this was a time to do that. Like I said, they could have taken Texas out because if you want to tell me Alabama or Georgia is better than Texas, I would say, well, I don't believe Alabama is because Texas beat Alabama. But the point is, a one-loss, I can replace a one-loss team. There's no reason to get rid of an undefeated team. Except for the fact that Alabama is Alabama, and hey, they get to do what they want because Nick Saban was mad they got left out the playoffs last year, and so you knew they were gonna get them in this year.
So let me ask you this: if Jordan Travis is there, and because the thing is, the defense showed up. Yes, it was that Louisville game. I'm not gonna say it was boring, but it was more of Florida State showed that they had a great defense.
Defense won the game, yeah.
Defense won the game for them. So what happened for me is they took that as Florida State is unwatchable because they don't have a quarterback. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's they took that as. But for me, I took it as, can that defense roll? Can they stop a Michigan? Can they stop a Georgia? Can they stop whoever in that four? And I'm like, yes, because that defense came to play every time they needed to make a stop, they made a stop. And if you listen to the late on ESPN said before the game even started, if Florida State wins this game and doesn't look like they did it in good fashion, they're not going to the four anyway. I called it. I said it. Yeah. No Jordan Travis, no four. No matter. Now, if I'm Florida State, I'm boycotting any game they put me in.
Well, let's get to some of this question, but before we do, I want to get on this because you mentioned this. One, I don't even think Jordan Travis is three. They use that as their out, but if Jordan Travis was still there, I think they would have still found a way to get Alabama in that game. Florida State was going to be the loser just because they play in the ACC, so it's bullcrap. Secondly, if it had been in Alabama or even in Michigan that lost their starting quarterback and still managed to win, they played 2 games without their starting quarterback, one against a team in the top 25 and won. That would not have been a reason to exclude any other team other than Florida State. So that's the part I don't like about it. It's some bullcrap. But like you said, it's the money. It's the money. But go ahead.
Florida State had the fifth hardest strength of schedule. Yeah. Most times the committee goes off of the strength of schedule when they make these decisions on who's going to these bowl games. So the strength of Alabama had the 55th ranked strength of schedule this year and they lost to a Texas team
Yeah.
at at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm trying to figure out. Even if Georgia lost, you still put Georgia in there just for the fact of the matter that they was number one the whole
The
entire
whole
year.
season.
That's
But
what I don't understand.
it's good to be Alabama. Is the the conclusion because you can get what you want. But it's all good. Let's hit this question. Curtis Jameson, welcome to the show. You
Well,
got to make a choice between Jalen Reed. That's my dude, by the way. He's been making my teams work. We got Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers. You only can start one of those in your flex spot. Who do you go with?
I'm on the Rashid Rice train.
Because of that
Um,
game, yeah, I can dig that.
I'm on I got to go with Rice on this one. It's tough though.
Yeah,
Definitely tough.
those I say that those are three good options to go with, especially if Christian Watson doesn't end up playing because Christian Watson is like always hurt, like
Oh,
always. So if he doesn't play, I think Reed is gonna have a really good game because he's the Romeo Dobbs is coming back alive, but I think Reed might be the best wide receiver when
yeah.
Christian Watson's not there, and maybe even when Christian Watson is there.
That's,
Um, I love me some Zay Flowers, but I don't always love. Uh, hey, the Ravens have been winning, but it hasn't been the winning I think a lot of people expected because
yeah.
with this new offense, we expected Lamar Jackson to put up major good numbers, and they've really been winning games with defense more than anything else.
Mm.
So I think I'm gonna go with you just because of that lightning game with Buffalo and Kansas City, and I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's
say
a big
Rashee
one, boy.
Rice.
Okay. Woo.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with you, but just because he's on, I do have Rashee Rice. Actually, I have all three of these wide receivers on different teams, but I have Jalen Reed in more leagues, and he's been winning me. So my heart goes with Jalen Reed, but Rashee Rice, I think is the right call.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
so who would you start in this one? My guy, people. Hey, I love you guys because y'all draft the players I love. David Montgomery or A Chain, PPR.
Oh man, I like 18. I like 18 a lot.
It's a tempting
But
game.
I don't know how healthy he is.
Yeah,
That's I'm gonna say Montgomery. Um,
yeah,
slightly over 18 because 18 that knee I think is really bothering him,
yeah.
and I think he's not letting known more than people think. So I'm gonna go Montgomery over 18.
I think you probably have a really big ceiling with PPR, but like you said, you don't know, and so
Yeah,
if it's a health problem, you know what I'm saying. I think you go better. It's week 14, right? So it's
yeah.
almost playoff
You
mode, right?
gotta
So
play who's
I'm gonna
gonna.
play my best possible guys, my
Oh yeah,
studs, if you will. And David Montgomery, despite Jameer Gibbs being there, has been a stud all year. So I'm with you. Hey, I agree with you on both questions. So
yeah.
we're rolling neck and neck. What about defenses? Dallas, Jacksonville, or Cleveland?
Dallas got Philly, so that's a no for
That's a
me.
no for me. That's a hard no.
Um, Cleveland, maybe. I just seen Jacksonville get
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah,
defense can hold.
that's an interesting one because those Jacksonville and Cleveland are playing each other, so you
Yeah,
gotta get the pick between the two.
but also Jacksonville playing with a backup, Cleveland playing with a
Yeah,
backup. So it's like 50 poison either
I know.
one is fine.
That
So
might be why it's the game to pick because
I would say this.
of all the games this week, that one and the New England Pittsburgh Thursday night game that should be terrible are
Yeah,
the lowest point spread games, right? And so, yeah, I think you're probably good with either one of them for your defense. 'Cause like you said, it's a bunch of backups and ineptness is what I see. If I had to pick between them, I'd probably go.
I'm going
Is Joe
Jacksonville.
Flacco starting again?
Yep.
Because he
Joe,
looked pretty doggone decent.
Joe,
I'm
Joe Flacco is
I'm gonna
starting,
go
but I'm
Cleveland.
going Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cleveland as my defense between those. The defense I'm starting this week, as you probably know, because I picked them up immediately as possible, is the Texans.
Yeah,
I'm rolling hard with the Texans this week.
I picked them up too in a
Yeah,
few leagues. But
I don't
yeah,
care whether it's Zach Wilson. I know Justin said he's young. He's young and young,
I mean,
but
how many seasons you gonna give to Zach Wilson? I mean,
hey,
because he hasn't get he's going to get more opportunity than.
Yeah, he'll get another chance. Like I said, I agree that he's young, and like I've said many times throughout the season, I don't like to count off of these young guys too early.
Yeah.
We talked about how good Jordan Reed is. I mean, not Jordan Reed. Jordan Love is playing right now. Have you noticed, everybody, the pattern that has happened since they had Brett Favre? They brought in Aaron Rodgers, let him sit for a few years to learn, then put him in. Excellence. Brought in Jordan Love, had him sit for a few years. Hey, he's looking. I ain't saying he's Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers yet, but my man is looking good, and it's a benefit to having a guy that you don't have to start from jump like Zach Wilson has been done. I think it can work, but it can also stunt your growth if you're on a bad team. And let's be real, the Jets aren't a great team.
A lot of teams don't practice patience anymore.
None at all. Because quarterbacks or coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, they want you to come in, especially the quarterback. They want you to come in and be successful right away. And I don't think that's the way you should do it. I think honestly, if you're a top pick, should you start day one? Maybe, because they're a top pick for a reason.
Look, if you're C.J. Stroud, yes, certainly. Right.
Yeah. Now, I do think if you are a top 5 pick or in that 5 of top as a quarterback, I think you should start from day one. I don't believe in them sitting the quarterback. I think it kind of stunts their growth a little bit, because what do you learn? Obviously, the question is, what are you learning from the current starting quarterback?
Yeah, that's the big question. Who are you sitting behind? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Who was bad the year before for a reason. That's why you drafted the quarterback.
And that's kind of my logic in drafting quarterbacks. A lot of times people wait until you have a guy, then you have to throw him in. Mm-hmm. Why not while you have a good quarterback? I mean, don't do it when you don't have the numbers, if you will, the salary cap to fix other parts of your problem. But don't wait until you're in a desperate situation to bring in the new quarterback. And I think that's the thing that the Packers have done well. And it's been questioned at times when they've done it. But when you see a guy that's getting close to the end of his career, bring in somebody that can sit behind him and learn. Don't wait till Davis Mills is your quarterback to say, oh, we need to go draft somebody. No, you're already losing then. Do it while you're winning.
I mean, because you're not gonna get a CJ Stroud every draft where he can come in and just pick up the system and play well. You're not gonna get that. You're gonna get somebody like a Bryce Young who struggles in a situation where there's not enough talent around. And I hate to say this, and I drafted Bryce Young in the Dynasty League, but I've always said that Alabama quarterbacks are really not that. And I'm taking Jalen Hurts out of that situation.
He's an Oklahoma quarterback.
He's an Oklahoma.
I hate that so much, just because I know that's where he started. But for me, look, they didn't want Jalen Hurts. They let him go. He finished at Oklahoma. So
that's where he made his name at Oklahoma. So
that's where he won the Heisman.
I mean, think about all the quarterbacks that currently.
Oh, did he win the Heisman, or was he just I can't remember.
He was successful at Oklahoma. Yeah. He played well. He was a second round pick coming out of Oklahoma. So, Mac Jones, Bryce Young, those guys had a ton of talent around them to be successful. But when you get to the league and that's not the case, you have to kind of adapt to not playing around that, and it don't work for you sometimes. Yeah. Now, I wish the best for Bryce Young, but for me, it's like Jordan Love, he sat for so long, and people wrote him off because he didn't jump Aaron Rodgers. And now look at him. I feel like you got to give him a shot. I feel like some guys just need to play early and often, and need to play in the beginning. And I feel like Jordan Love couldn't play in front of Aaron Rodgers anyway, but they made a decision saying, look, all right, man, we done with you. You're giving us a headache. We want too much money. We got to get you out. Jordan Love is here, so we got to give him a chance. And, I mean, look what he's doing. But I say start quarterback from the jump, in my opinion.
Depending on who's in front of them, yes, I agree. But but save yourself the trouble and draft well, so you don't have to start a guy right from it. That's my advice. But I don't run any NFL teams, so y'all don't gotta listen to me.
Let's show some love to Mike Evans.
Oh yeah, let's
Um,
let's jump in on that.
uh, 10 years straight, 1,000 yards. I've on this show said that Mike Evans was a Hall of Fame wide receiver,
Hmm.
and I've caught a lot of backlash from people saying, "How is he a Hall of Famer?" I mean, when you go 10 years of 1,000 yards each year, you know how hard it is just to get a
Yeah.
yard in the NFL. So my question for you is, and we've had this discussion before,
Yeah.
is he who goes in first, Julio or Mike Evans?
They can't go in. Well, here we go. Julio goes in
Hypothetically,
first because he
hypothetically.
retired first.
No, what I'm saying is hypothetically, if they retired at the same time, and who goes in first, Mike Evans or Julio Jones? Because that was the previous
Yeah,
argument
that
that
was
was
the
on the show.
question. I
That
think
was
they're
the question.
both Hall of Famers, and honestly, I think they're both first ballot Hall. Wide receiver is a tough
Mm-hmm.
position because it's such a log jam of guys. But to me, I think they both deserve to be first ballot Hall of Famers. And I'm gonna stick with what I said the first time. If it's a choice between the two, Julio, and this is my argument, Julio's peak was above Mike Evans' peak, but Mike Evans has been that constant greatness throughout his whole career. I don't want to try to get in the mind of sports writers because I have a whole argument about sports writers we'll get into later with some news. But I think Julio Jones probably gets in first just because his peak was so high. But they're both Hall of Famers, and I think they both should be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Well, I say Mike Evans because if you want to look at somebody being consistent over years,
Over years.
it's
And,
because
and
when
he
you
does have the Super Bowl that he can hang his hat on as well.
so when you say peak, Julio Jones peak years was 2 3 years
Yeah.
where he just peaked out and was the best
Yeah,
receiver.
he was no doubt the best receiver in football for a couple
Yeah,
of years.
so he peaked out for 3 years, but then it went flat
Yeah,
after that. Mike Evans, and we used to say this about Brandon Cook. No
yeah,
matter who quarterbacked the team, he was always successful.
always there. Yeah.
So you could say the same thing about Mike Evans. Now.
Oh yeah.
No matter who the quarterback was, he was always successful. He always got 1,000 yards. He got 1,000 yards with Baker Mayfield. People,
I know, right?
like let's hear me one time with Baker Mayfield. So I mean, people can say what they want, but I think you got to put him in his first ballot.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a stretch you probably won't see. And they say the only other receiver to do that was Jerry Rice.
yeah.
So you got to do that. So
Hey, you won't get me arguing against Mike Evans in the Hall of Fame because hey, he's Hall of Famer Mike Evans for a reason.
that's it.
Skills Force says Evans statistically should go in first. Jones had more off years than glory years.
That's it.
But I think he's going to get the benefit of a doubt of the injuries that he had towards it with a lot of those off years. At their peak, if I put their best season side by side, Julia Jones definitely had the best season,
Yeah, but
that one's not close.
he
But
did.
but like I said, you won't get me disagreeing on Mike Evans as a first ballot Hall of Famer because he's been great literally every year, and that's like unheard of. People don't do that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but I think at the end of the day, even his best year, it was nothing to show for it.
Oh
So
no, that,
I mean, I'm
no, he
saying
played for the Falcons, so
it was
there
nothing to show
there
for
was
it, even
nothing to be
his best year.
done with that. Yeah,
So I mean, at least Mike Evans can go to them and say, "Look, on the strength of obviously Brady, he has a ring,
yeah.
but he was a big part of the reason why they won the ring. It won't like he was just that third
Oh yeah.
receiver; he was the number one receiver. So I say Mike Evans. So,
I wouldn't be. I don't think there's a wrong answer. It's just who are the writers' preference going to be. Um, but speaking of writers, because I want to jump in on this before we close out,
mm-hmm.
you know as well as I do that the leading guy for the MVP. I'm already talking Hall of Fame, but the leading person to win the MVP this year is drumroll, Brock Purdy.
How?
Because he just threw for 4 touchdowns against the best defense maybe in the league, or one of the best defenses, a team that was in the Super Bowl this past year. And except for those 3 weeks when there was no Trent Williams and no Debo, he's been phenomenal.
Do we need to watch film again? Because last time
Yo, our boy Dent can bring in the film because I'm pretty sure he has games on his phone he can show us.
Dent doesn't watch film. He watches Brock Purdy. So he doesn't watch film. Right. He watches, Brock Purdy threw it. And just like somebody said up in the comments, Debo had a wonderful game this week. Yes, Debo gets credit for those. Now, my thing is this. He's playing well. We're not going to take anything away from him. Yeah. But let's be real here, people. Debo caught a 10-yard pass, broke a few tackles, and he just burnt the rest of the team. He went 40 yards and went 63 yards. He threw a screen pass, a negative 2-yard screen pass, that he took 63 yards down the field. So if we're going to talk about what he did and what he didn't do, you got to give credit to the people that's doing it. You can't give him credit because at the end of the day, you can throw a 5-yard pass and Debo or Brandon Ayuk or Kittle, those guys could take it 30, 40 yards because they're faster than most people. So if anything, you give it to McCaffrey. McCaffrey is the person that deserves it on the team more than anything. Honestly, I don't think McCaffrey deserves it. I think Tyreek Hill deserves the MVP in all honesty, because if he does 2,000 yards, you got to give it to him.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's be real here. And the Raiders want to give it to him. They're looking for a new Brady. So that's what they want to do, honestly.
He went from Mr. Irrelevant to, in some people's minds, MVP candidate, and some writers might even be writing his Hall of Fame speech already. I think it's probably look, Brock Purdy. At the beginning of the season, I had Dave as Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0. I moved off of that after watching a few games, and he's probably better than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's pretty doggone good, but he still has everything around him to be successful. People don't like the word system quarterback, but he's in a perfect system for him with talent all around. Look at who are the best players on the 49ers. My guesses would be Christian McCaffrey, who I think is definitely a candidate for MVP. Deebo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Trent Williams is a star, and I would say maybe he should even be in consideration for MVP, because if you look at that offense in games when Trent Williams played versus games when Trent Williams didn't play, it's like night and day. And so that's 5 guys off just the top of my head who are better or at least as good as Brock Purdy. I don't know if you can go to another team that's winning and name off 5 players that are as good or better than their quarterback. I was trying to think today of who could even fit in that category. He's got the perfect team around him. So I'm with you. I think he's really good. I don't think he's MVP candidate because I don't think he's the best. If you're an MVP player, you should be the best player on your team. And for me, I'm with you. I think it's Tyreek Hill for MVP. And if not him, because, the MVP has become a quarterback award. If there's going to a QB, for me, it's C.J. Stroud, just because that Texas team we saw just a year ago with Davis Mills, they were terrible. And now they're looking like they might make the playoffs or even win that division. We saw the 49ers last year with Jimmy Garoppolo compared to this year, and they're pretty much the exact same thing because that team, that roster is just stacked.
Honestly, and what people don't understand is this. 4 weeks ago, the defensive coordinator came out of the booth.
Yeah.
And he went down to the field. And the team gave up 7 points, 3 points, 14 points, and they just gave up, if not mistaken, what, 14, 19 points to Philly. So, therefore, the defense, which he's not going to get credit at all for this, which is a shame for real, because ever since he's been down on the field, that defense has been lights out.
Yeah.
And when the defense puts you in position to where you have a short field every time, you're going to be successful because you don't have to drive the length of the field every time you get the ball. So the defense is making plays. The corners are playing excellent because of the front four with Chase Young.
That signing was beautiful.
So,
yeah.
What people don't understand is you got to give credit to the defense.
I was naming off players that may be better than Brock Purdy, and as Skills Ford pointed out, I was just naming offensive players. I didn't even talk about the defense.
Yeah, like Wilkes should get credit, but Wilkes is not going to get credit because in the media eyes is Brock Purdy, is McCaffrey, is Debo, is those guys who's making it happen. But if you watch the games like play by play, you would see that at the end of the day, the defense is the reason why they're in the field position that they're in, because they limit these guys on offense to bare minimum nothing, and they get it at do you understand that we average the ball around the 45-yard line? That's already crossed the field, crossed the mid of the field already. So that in the terms of that, you're gonna be successful anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Debo in the screen, or you get Kittles in the screen, you get Ayuk in the screen, or you get them a 10-yard pass and whatever open. Of course the offense is going to be good. I mean, come on. I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, but the point being, like I said, NFL writers get to make these kinds of calls, and
I think that's the wrong move.
Yeah.
Honestly. And then I agree with you on C.J. Stroud. If C.J. Stroud go out there and they win a division, right?
Yeah.
They win the division. C.J. Stroud leads the league in passing yards right now. If he finished the season leading the league in passing yards and finished somewhere in that top 5 in touchdown passes, and they win a division, how could you not give it to C.J. Stroud? C.J. Stroud took a team.
He's been amazing. Yeah.
I got a question for you. You could not name C.J. Stroud's receivers before the season started.
I could have, because
we play fantasy football.
There you go. I was gonna say because Nico Collins I knew, and Tank Dell I knew because of fantasy football. He was one of the rookies I was looking for. Outside of those two, no, I couldn't have told you a single name.
But if you ask a person that rarely watches football, but they know about C.J. Stroud, but they know about the Houston Texans, but you say, hey, who is he throwing to? You know what they're gonna say? This guy. Let me look it up right quick. They're going to have to Google who he's throwing to. And a lot of those guys are first and second year players that nobody thought about drafting or talking about, because C.J. Stroud, the definition of an MVP is to make your team or other players better. So C.J. Stroud has to be. If he finishes that way, and what people don't realize, it's like 10 players ahead of Brock Purdy right now in yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, I think the exact number is like 8 or.
Well, I know.
But the point is, there's a lot of
players. There's a lot of players ahead of him right now that are playing better because with less talent. Because if you stick C.J. Stroud on the 49ers, he's doing the same thing. He probably do more. And if you stick Brock Purdy in Carolina, he's not doing that. He's not doing that in Houston because the talent-wise is different. So, and no knock on Purdy, I'm a Niners fan all day long. But I think Purdy is, people are giving him way too much credit. I mean, it's a nice story, and they want to end that story with that. Yeah. But come on, man.
It's a great story, but it's not necessarily true. Skills Force says C.J. Stroud thinks it's the best rookie quarterback since Andrew Luck. I can't really find an argument against it. I'm trying to think who else would I put on the since Luck wagon and say was better.
I don't know.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was impressive in his rookie year, but I don't think I put him. No,
Not CJ Stroud.
I don't put him in that. Yeah, I think it's got to be Stroud. I'm trying to go through my brain cells right now and see
I
other
think the
rookies.
rookie that did. I mean, if
Mm-mm.
you want to count Mahomes' second year
But
as,
that's yes, not the same. Not the same.
I mean, it ain't the same because he played one game. But if you want to equivalent to, he's coming in first year, technically a rookie. He did 5,000 yards,
Hmm.
and did correct me if I'm wrong. Did he win rookie of the that? Did he win the MVP that year? Mahomes when he threw 5,000 the second year?
I have to look that up. I'm not sure. I can't recall.
Because I want to say he threw
But
for 5,000 yards and like 50 touchdowns, some outrageous number. His second year in the league.
yeah, he came in and immediately people were able to see why Andy Reid went with him over Alex Smith. But I can't remember whether he won the MVP that year or not. Let's see.
I'm
I
not
think
looking at.
that's yeah. I know. Yeah, you look that up and we'll see. Do we have any other questions or comments? I think we hit all of those. Why are you looking that up? I
Oh, I found it. So yes, his
oh
second year, he had 5,097 yards
yeah,
and 50 touchdowns, and that's the year he won the
he
MVP.
did get the MVP that year.
Yep.
Cool, impressive.
So again, I'm not saying that CJ Stroud is going to throw 50 touchdowns,
Probably
but
not.
he's on pace. He's on pace for 5,000 yards, and
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, I can't see you giving that MVP award to Purdy if a
No.
person in that first year threw for 5,000 yards. That's, that's unheard of. I can't see it.
Yeah, and
So,
that's as an actual rookie as opposed to
yeah.
Mahomes who sat down. So yeah,
So,
yeah. To me, like I said, Tyreek Hill is my first choice at MVP. Maybe CMC would be my second. But if it's gonna go to a quarterback,
gotta,
to me, it's got to be CJ Stroud. Rookie of the year, I think he has a lot, but I think
oh,
he
definitely.
probably deserves more than just rookie of the year with the kind of season he's having.
But do you think they give it to him because he's a rookie? Or you think that's a
No,
knock?
that's probably gonna be a knock.
Wow.
Besides, he's not Brock Purdy, so who knows?
That's a bad take, brother. Man, that's a bad take.
Yeah,
And I know where you're going with that, but I'm not going there. I'm
yeah.
not even there. I
my,
should
my,
go there,
my,
but
my hope is that they give it to someone who's not a quarterback this year because it's very rarely that there's an opportunity for that to happen. If there's been an opportunity, this is the year they should 100% say, Tyreek Hill, this is yours. Now, we were talking about it earlier, and the question was did Calvin Johnson get the MVP of the year? He got that 1,900 yards, and he
oh,
didn't. That Adrian Peterson was the MVP that year. So even if Tyreek breaks the record, we don't.
yeah, I
I
don't
don't know what the.
think Cooper Cup.
I think
I
Tyreek Hill should get it though.
think Cooper Cup when he had 1,900. I don't think Cooper Cup
I don't
got
think he did
MVP.
either. I'm trying to remember who got the MVP that year. That they it's a sadly it's a quarterback award. It shouldn't be because in a lot of these cases the quarterback's not the most valuable player, but that's who they want to give it to.
I mean,
So
honest. Okay,
I mean,
let's.
actually no, Cooper Cup.
He didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Was he the?
I don't think Cooper Cup got it. Mm-mm.
Actually, I'm gonna say I think he did. I'm trying to look at 2022.
I don't think Cooper Cup got it.
Oh, Super Bowl. Hold up. That might be. Yeah. I'm looking at the wrong MVP. So let's see. 2020. That was. Oh, you know what? Nah. Because the last one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. The last 10 MVPs all went to quarterbacks. You have to go back to Adrian Peterson before you find an MVP who won the league MVP. Super Bowl MVP, you can find somebody else. But yeah, I'm looking at it now, and the last 10 MVPs have all been quarterbacks.
Yep.
That's sad. That's truly sad.
I mean that's the way obviously it's going. But for me, you kind of if that's the case, like okay, Tyreek Hill, if he gets
Yeah.
2 grand, right? Why the why doesn't Tua get the same recognition as a Brock Purdy? I mean, I'm
Because they will say that it's because, and that's the crazy part. They won't give it to Tua because he has Tyreek Hill and he has Jalen Waddle, and it's more so the offense around him.
again, I'm gonna
Hey,
ask the same
hey.
question. I'm gonna ask the same question. Why why
Yeah.
Tua is not getting credit for that?
Well, I
Because
say this. I don't think he should, but I also don't think Brock Purdy should either.
but
But
you just
yeah,
answer my question. Okay, if
yeah.
Tua can't get credit
Why
for the
can't Brock Purdy?
2000, why
The story's not as good.
why is
Yeah,
Brock Purdy getting all the credit for something that the team did?
he's the Wonder Boy. He's
I mean,
the
do you
dream
want me
guy.
to say it?
Yeah,
I mean, do you want me to say it? Because I say it. I'm
yeah,
not scared. I mean, because to me, and I hate to play this card, but they like the story. He's
yeah.
from the country. He has the face of a franchise type of player. They they can sell that face.
Oh yeah,
And I know people don't want to hear this. It is what it is, though. He is not like that great of a quarterback to say, "Oh, he's the MVP of the league." Not even. He doesn't deserve it because these guys around him are making him better.
oh yeah,
Like if two of them can't get credit for Tyreek Hill's 2,000 yards because he's throwing to him,
yeah.
why Brock Purdy is getting credit for Debo Sanders breaking a tackle and going 63 yards? Make it make sense.
It would you would never get me to make sense of it.
All right.
But
Now,
I told you this earlier, and I need you to realize if you want this to stop, you are the only person on the planet who can make it stop.
is that right?
Yeah, I mean you have the power within you
Uh,
because those that have watched this show long enough know Rodney is the quarterback jinx, and I
uh,
need you to get on the Brock Purdy bandwagon, and
I like. I will
then
say this.
you
I like Brock Purdy.
he's
I
the
think Brock
greatest
Purdy.
quarterback
I
there
don't.
is.
I don't. I
Not
don't know
just
Brock Purdy personally. I don't think Brock Purdy's a bad person. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he fits the system that he's in.
yeah,
I think
he's perfect for it. He
he's
and
doing
Kyle
what he's
Shanahan are one and one.
in the system. I think he's running the system like he's supposed to. I just think he gets the media alone
Oh yeah,
makes it more than what it is. The media makes him bigger than what he is, honestly. And you can sit here all day long and say Brock Purdy threw this pass and threw that pass. Brock Purdy throws around 15 yards, and the guy takes the rest of it. They go the rest of the way for that, and the defense kicks in for. Now, is Brock Purdy suitable for that offense? Yes, by all means. Can he win a Super Bowl? We don't know. We
we
will
gonna
see.
find out.
So
That
I'm just
that
saying.
that's gonna be the interesting part about it. Is we get to see in the playoffs where I think the Eagles will play much better, and we'll
Thank
see what other teams are out there. But I still say I think the 49ers have the best route to the Super
you. Of course,
Bowl.
yeah,
But
yeah,
hey, you never know until the games get played. So
I agree.
um, uh, we can't decide the MVP, you and I, but we can put in our votes for the Pro Bowl. Have you ever voted for? I've never in my life voted on a Pro Bowl.
Because the Pro Bowl is a glorified flag football game where you
No,
can't.
it's an
Like,
actual flag football game now, or at least it was
I
last year.
mean,
Yeah,
it's. I remember. I might be telling my age, but Sean Teller made a hit in the
yeah.
Pro Bowl game, and the announcers were like, "Did he really just hit the guy like that? This is a Pro Bowl game." No, it's not. I mean,
Yeah,
they try to change it up so much for people to watch it, and really people don't watch it. So
no,
it's more of a status thing. to be voted into the Pro Bowl, and half the time the players that make the Super Bowl don't even play in it. Well, they can't play in it because obviously they play in the Super Bowl the next week.
Right.
So, me personally, no. Not
Hey,
even.
but do you know who the leading vote getter from the fans in the Pro Bowl is right now?
No.
You just finished talking about him. Tua.
Oh, it's Tua.
Yeah. Tua right now is the number one vote getter, followed by C.J. Stroud, CMC, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. I'm wondering whether the Travis Kelce one is he's got a lot of Swifty voters right now. But yeah, those are your top 5 Pro Bowl players. You know who's not on that list?
Who?
The guy who's the top getter of MVP votes if it were held today.
That should tell you something, right?
That should tell you something.
That should tell you something. Okay.
It's funny that it's Tua leading, and you just mentioned.
I
don't know if you watch Manicast, but Tua was playing the guitar on Manicast. He was actually pretty good. I was impressed.
Look, I like Tua. I always been like a Tua guy. Honestly,
hey, you were calling him for your fantasy pick, and it worked out some weeks. He hasn't been consistent as a fantasy football guy.
But I think the one thing I'm happy about is he's healthy. He's staying healthy this year.
Yeah, and that was, I think, their biggest concern.
So definitely he's healthy. So I think he gets better. The problem with this is they blow teams out and they get benched. They put him on the bench when they're up by so many points.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's him being inefficient or not playing well or things of that nature. I think it's the fact that they just blow teams out and they don't finish the game. Yeah. I mean, they just blew out Washington and they was gone by the third quarter. Literally took them out the game by the third quarter.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like
you don't want your quarterback to be winning that much in fantasy football because I wanted to keep going. So, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, well, is Tua obviously the top 7, top 8 quarterback next year in the draft?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I asked him about C.J. Stroud. Is C.J. Stroud, because if it stopped today, the fantasy football was in today's playoffs, championship, everything, C.J. Stroud will finish as the number 1 quarterback. Is C.J. Stroud a top 5 quarterback going into the draft next year?
That's a tough one because of him being so young, but it's hard to say no the way he's doing right now. I don't see a reason for C.J. Stroud to have a worse year next year. I don't think he's going backwards.
Who you taking out?
Shoot. Let's see. My top 5 going into this year, if I remember correctly, was Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and did I have Jalen Hurts in my top 5, or was it somebody else?
I think it was Jalen Hurts.
I think I had Jalen Hurts in my top 5. Am I taking out any of those guys? He's having a better season than all of those guys. And I'm not going to give it to a guy who's been really good this year that a lot of people were down on. I'd say would be like Dak Prescott, who might be trying to play his way back into a top 5 consideration for quarterbacks. If I got to take one of those players out, it might be Joe Burrow, just because he's been a completely off-topic thing. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest knocks on Lamar Jackson, from myself included, is he gets hurt too much.
Yep.
Joe Burrow's been hurt even more than Lamar Jackson has, and doesn't get that same label. So if I'm going top 5 eliminator, Joe Burrow probably gets out, but it might actually even be Justin Herbert, because I don't understand what is happening with that offense. Well, they might have a new coach next year, so maybe.
For me, it's either Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is a slow starter every year.
Yeah.
Starts slow every year, but for me, Justin Herbert, I don't think Justin Herbert is the problem.
No.
I think the coach is the problem, and I think what's going on is the coach They need a new coach. They need an offensive-minded coach. So they need a fresh start. It's an Amber Alert.
Okay.
They need a fresh start. Coaching wise.
Yeah.
And I bring it up, and I think he fits perfect, and it's the enemy. I think the enemy would do wonders for Justin Herbert.
I think it would be fun. I can't get into the mind of the Washington football team.
It ain't
I
his fault.
think they're probably really making a mistake if they let him go.
I think to benefit Sam Howell, I think they should keep him.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I'm saying. I think it would be a mistake on their part to let
yeah,
Eric Bieniemy go somewhere. Ron Rivera's gone. That
I
that
got
one
it.
I think is already written.
Yeah,
They
that's rich.
should try to hold on to the enemy. I think.
I mean, for me, you honestly, you think about it, they make the enemy the head coach.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do it because you don't have to. It's no Rooney rule. They don't have to follow the Rooney rule because he's an African American
Yeah.
coach. So at the end of the day, all they got to do is hire him.
All they got to
That's
do is hire him because look, you have a young quarterback who's shown some talent.
hmm
Uh, don't mess it up. You know what I'm saying?
and I
Keep
think the
him
next
with the same guy.
the
Don't
next
make him have to learn a whole new system.
that's the
That
problem.
would be dumb on their part.
Yeah,
That's
that's why I say if he goes, if you, I heard where they said something about the enemy being in Chicago, maybe. I don't like that
yeah.
situation. I would stay far away from that. I mean, I wouldn't even make the trip to
That
go to
team
the
is
NFL.
toxic. Look, the Washington team is just getting over their toxicity from
Yeah,
getting rid of their owner. Don't
you
go
don't.
to another situation. Nah, that
Now,
would be a mistake.
if that Chargers job open up, I'm in the line for it
Oh
because
yeah,
you're
to work
inheriting
with Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen and Austin
that's
Eckler.
you're inheriting a offense with those three guys, and just in particular, just Justin Herbert.
Look,
You're
in
inheriting.
about 3 weeks a year, you have Mike Williams. So hey,
I mean, they need to let him go though. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
right.
But when you inherit, they need Justin Herbert needs that. He needs that type
Yeah,
of offensive coordinator because Staley is not cutting it, bro. Staley
yeah,
is play calling still, and what you're not realizing is the OC.
yeah,
And I didn't think about this right until maybe yesterday. The OC for them is the old OC for the Cowboys.
yeah,
So where the Cowboys offense looked stale last year compared to this year. So if you go back and watch the Cowboys offense the whole year last year,
yeah.
you'll see why they got rid of him in the first place because his play calling
Mm-hmm.
was great. And it's the same thing that's
Yeah,
happening with the Chargers. The play calling is stale. Everybody knows where it's going. Nothing is long. Everything is short. And if you watch Dallas's offense this year,
mm-hmm.
you can see a total different offense with him not being there. So, me personally, I think the offensive coordinator, honestly,
Yeah, he
is
can go with Staley. They
yeah,
can,
Staley, because Staley mishaps of calls on fourth down and going for it on fourth down and when you're on your own 30, stuff like that don't make sense. That's just bad. That's poor coaching at its finest.
yeah,
But I mean, if I'm the enemy, I'm fan in Washington. But if that job comes available with the Chargers, I'm there. You ain't got. If you want to give it to me, I'm taking it.
yeah. I mean, no doubt, no doubt. But wouldn't that be funny though if that did happen? Because then he'd be back in the division coaching against Andy Reid and the Chiefs. So
But that's
that would be funny. That would be funny.
he knows the Chiefs, which
No.
he knows. I mean, maybe it's a different offense they're running now, but he knows the team. So it's like I would do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe he deserves a job personally because people keep writing him off and talking about what he did in college. The man is like 55. Like, come on. He been out of college years ago.
Yeah.
Like, stop judging that man for something he did in the past. Everybody got a past. Everybody did something in the past. Stop judging him. It's called growth.
Indeed.
But
Well,
that's it. And I appreciate y'all. Definitely. 'Cause I was late.
You were very late. You
That's
all look, you're gonna have to stay behind and run laps
I
to
ain't
make
going
up.
to bed,
Like
but
going to sleep.
yeah, I'm going directly to bed. So no,
Oh,
it's
that bad
I
at you.
appreciate people though. I really do. Like I say, it's my fault, but work call, duty call sometimes. So I gotta go. So,
Hey,
but I'm here.
it's all good. You came in. You had some good advice. I think we hit all the questions. But hey, if you come up with a question between now and here's my one advice: don't play too many players tomorrow night because that game,
I
yeah,
can't be careful.
yeah. But unless you have to, but because I for one might, I don't think I'm gonna have to. But I did. I was talking to you earlier. I did pick up Mitch Trubisky because of my quarterback, but I think I can get away without playing him. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look at that roster. So I might be
I hope,
calling you for some advice on who to
I,
play.
I hope you don't, because I'm
I
thinking about
hope I
this.
don't.
Najee's hurt though. They
Huh?
say Najee's hurt. He
Yeah.
might not play. Which I
So
don't understand
avoid that game would be my first
that.
bit of fantasy football advice. But if you have questions on other lineup things, hey, hit us up social media on X or Facebook or Instagram, right here on YouTube in the comment section. Let us know, and we'll be glad to try to get back with you and do what we can to help you. So good luck with you all. Come back. We'll hey, even though the fantasy football season is over, we'll still be back here. So if you have playoff questions, you can hit us up. Or hey, even if your team gets eliminated, like some of mine are getting, come back and just join in the conversation and live vicariously through the people that are winning, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, best of
What?
luck to you all, and we'll see you back here next week. Hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we look forward to having you guys back.
All right.
All
Peace.
right, peace out.